Puzzle number 1. It looks like black is doing better in this position because, he has his black pieces that are in white's territory. But are they really? I mean, Bobby Fischer is playing with white, and here you can checkmate in 3 moves. Try to find it. I told you this one was easy. The first thing that you had to see is called a deviation in chess, which means this queen is protecting actually this bishop. If I manage to have this queen go away from this column, I will be able to take the bishop with my queen. And this is why the winning move in this situation is to play rook check, sacrifice that rook in this situation. Because when the queen takes, the queen is no longer defending the bishop. Now you take the bishop, and this is a check, and the king doesn't have any square. But this is a checkmate in 3, I said, because the queen can cover. You're obviously taking it, and this is a checkmate. Puzzle number 2 is an endgame. And here, it looks like white is doing better again, but Bobby Fischer is playing with the black pieces, and he wins. That's not an easy one. I told you that the first puzzle actually was the easiest. This one is getting harder. The third one, madness, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful chess. Here, in this situation, this is what you do in your games. You see a check, you do it. I'm not saying it's a bad move. I'm not saying this. I'm just saying you see a check, you do it. This is what Bobby Fischer did. Then the king goes here. He's attacking the knight. And the problem is that if you move this one, then this one is no longer protecting the pawn, which means you take the pawn on the next move. Let's say it goes check. Now you're taking the pawn and white is totally winning, right? So now you're thinking, okay, this check maybe is not so good. But it is. But you had to see what Fischer saw in this situation. He gave a check, and now he sacrifices the knight. Because when he takes the knight, now you push the pawn, and you're thinking it's super easy. Let me tell you something. In your games, here, you're capable of losing with black. Because let me show you how it goes in your games. He goes rook e1. He's controlling actually this pawn, so this pawn cannot queen. Then you go rook b1 without even thinking. You go like this. Admit it. I'm sure you do. Right? Rook b1. Now he pushes the pawn. You take the rook. You're happy. He queens. You queen. You have a queen and a rook. But my friend here, Bobby Fischer would have lost because it's a checkmate in 2 moves. This is checkmate. And this is what happens in our games usually. Right? Instead, in this situation, what you had to see is to not play this move. This move, rook b1, there was what we call an intermezzo, intermediary move, okay? Which means you play first a move like this one, check. It looks like, why? Why giving it this check? Doesn't make any sense. But let me show you what happens in the variation that I just showed you. Now you go to rook b1. Now he pushes. It's exactly the same variation that just happened that we do in our games. But this is Bobby Fischer now, who's playing with black. So it's a bit different. He gave rook b4 check instead. The only difference is that now you force the king to go to this square. And when he queens, you queen with check. Makes a big difference. Because when the king comes here, so he doesn't have time to give this check and this to checkmate in 2 moves. He goes here. And you checkmate. And this is how Bobby Fischer destroyed his opponent here. Puzzle number 3 is total madness. Bobby Fischer is playing with the white pieces. It looks like this when you just arrive, in a competition and you see the chessboard and you're like, black is better. Black is better. This king is weak, right? This is what you're thinking. White is totally winning here. I mean, feel free to pause if you want to actually try to find it. But I'm not even asking you to try to find this. Because honestly, even an international master wouldn't find it in 30 seconds. I do not think so. He goes rook take f7. He sacrifices the rook. He had to see in this situation, he had to see rook check, which is insane, actually. The problem is, if you come back with the rook because you saw that there is a check when you remove the rook, so you're thinking, okay, I'm going to come back with the rook and cover. So you saw this, and then, the king moves, and you're in trouble. It's finished. Black is winning for a simple reason. This rook now is pinned to the king, which means this rook cannot take this one, right? You would love to play this move, but you can't. And also, if the rook takes this rook instead, now the queen jumps in, and this is a back rank checkmate, because, yeah, the queen can come and cover, and that's a checkmate. So, this is not how Bobby Fischer lost, right? I told you he's winning here. So he goes rook sacrifice. He goes check. And now, this is the craziest move in this situation. Cover with the queen. This is unbelievable. He had to see this before sacrificing the rook, which is insane. Let me show you why. What happens if rook takes rook? Now the rook comes back. This is a check. This is a discovery check, which means the king is forced to go here. Now I take checkmate. So the only move wasn't to actually move the king, is to actually take the bishop. But if you take the bishop with the queen, okay, there is no check. Now I exchange rooks, and then I take, and this endgame is totally winning for white. In the game, it didn't go like this. In the game, he didn't take actually the queen, and black played h5, which is, be very careful about this move, because you're thinking, yeah, fine, I have everything in this position, and I'm winning. I can just take the rook. Yes, you can. After this move, you're losing with white. This position is just, honestly, it's mind-blowing. You're losing because now your queen suddenly is pinned. You're going to lose the queen on the next move. And this king is pretty safe. There is nothing you can do. You can go check if you want to. I go on h6 and there is nothing. You don't even have a check in this position. Next move, I'm going to take the queen. So, be very careful. When he goes h5, Bobby Fischer obviously saw this. And by the way, he saw this at the first move he played, I'm pretty sure. You cannot take the rook that is given to you, because at the end of the variation, you are pinned. So here, again, the best move. This is, honestly, this is crazy. This is insane. You had to see that you have to sacrifice the queen against the rook. Now you're thinking you're back-ranking checkmate yourself. But you're not, because when the queen takes, again there is this discovery check. When you move the rook to come back and cover this check, this is a check. This is unbelievable, because now he moves and you take, you're a rook up. You're a rook up. I don't know about you, but this is by far the most brilliant chess combination I think I've ever seen in my life. I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you on the next one.